Hi, I'm Dr. Spencer Kagan, and I'm excited to introduce you to my new book, Brain-Friendly Teaching: Tools, Tips, and Structures. The concept of brain-friendly teaching is aligning how we teach with how brains best learn. When we do, it's sort of like swimming with the current. With less effort, students learn more and like class more. And if we don't align how we teach with how brains best learn, it's like swimming against the current. We work harder, students learn less, and they like it less. So we're at a point now where it's incumbent on teachers to understand what are the basic principles of brain-friendly teaching so they can apply them for success in their own classrooms. The first principle of brain-friendly teaching is nourishment. Better nourished brains function better. They learn better, they attend better, they retain information better, they perform better on tests. So the question becomes, how can we better nourish brains? In that principle, I look at a variety of ways that we as teachers can better nourish the brains of our students while we teach. One of the ways is exercise. When there's major muscle movement, the heart beats faster, the breathing rate is higher, and we pump more blood to the brain, and the blood that we pump is better oxygenated. So I look at a variety of ways that we can include movement in our classrooms while we teach. So without time off the curriculum, we have better nourished brains, so students perform better. The second principle of brain-friendly teaching is safety. When a person feels safe, their brain functions better. When there's any threat at all, our amygdala fires, sending a message to the prefrontal cortex to shut down. And at that point, we can't think straight. We've all had that experience. Right before a test, we get anxious and we say to ourselves, I can't even think straight because I feel so anxious. Any degree of threat, any lack of safety gives that same feeling to the student so that they can't learn as well or perform as well. So the question becomes, how can we create safety in our classrooms? In Principle 2, I look at a wide range of ways of creating safety. One of those is creating inclusive teams through team building and inclusive classrooms through class building. Principle 3 is social. In this principle, we cover two things. We cover the importance of social interaction that prepares students to learn better. By processing with others and working with others, they learn a great deal more. We cover the research on cooperative learning and how to use cooperative learning to optimize effects. But we also cover the principle of social cognition. Social cognition, thinking about the minds of others, releases an entirely different memory system in the brain. And it's a system that works extremely well. We're naturally born to think about the thoughts and impulses and characteristics of others. The fourth principle of brain-friendly teaching is emotion. Emotion, when we harness the power of emotion, we can dramatically improve thinking and retention in our classroom. In this principle, I look at a wide range of doing that, of using the principle of emotion to facilitate learning. How to create emotion linked to the content. How to have students emotionally involved so that they remember the content better. The fifth principle of brain-friendly teaching is attention. We all know that if we walk into a classroom and students have distracted attention, some of them are fumbling in their desk and some of them are mind wandering while the teacher's talking, there's not going to be much learning. If in contrast we walk into a classroom and the students are paying rapt attention to everything the teacher says, we know they're going to perform much better. I'm fond of saying attention yields retention. So the question becomes, how can we apply the findings of brain science to improve the attention of our students? In this principle, I go into the 4 attention systems in the brain and how we can activate them to capture and hold the attention of our students. The last principle, the 6th principle of brain-friendly teaching, is stimuli. Brains naturally attend to certain kinds of stimuli and naturally ignore other kinds of stimuli. And when we know this, and we know which kinds of stimuli brains naturally attend to, we can teach with those kind of stimuli in order to accelerate learning. For example, brains naturally attend to novelty. So what we examine in this principle are ways to include novelty in our teaching. Brains naturally attend to visual images, to gestures, to music. So we look at ways to incorporate these stimuli as we teach. For each principle, I provide a number of tools any teacher can use to improve instruction. For each of the tools, I embed a number of tips, concrete hints, little things you can do on a daily basis, on a moment-to-moment basis that enhance outcomes. Structures are research-proven ways of structuring the interaction of students with each other, with the teacher, with the curriculum, ways that accelerate learning and improve social as well as academic outcomes. So with these tools, tips, and structures, it becomes easy to become a brain-friendly teacher.